So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 11 things I wish I knew in my 20s. I'm calling them brutal because they're not feel-good motivational stuff that you see everywhere. They're the hard realities that most people don't want to face. Over the years, I reckon I've made pretty much every mistake you can make in your 20s. I've failed at businesses, wasted time on the wrong things, and avoided dealing with my own shit until it kind of got thrown back in my face. Your 20s are either going to set you up for the rest of your life or they're going to be the decade you spend the next 20 years trying to recover from. So I hope these truths can save you from the wasted time and energy. Let's get into it. All right, the first truth, this is one of the biggest ones for me personally, and it's you are the only thing that gets in your way. Think about this for a second. Let me paint a picture. Think about a billionaire, okay? Now, if a billionaire lost everything tomorrow, he wouldn't go back to making $60,000 a year or $100,000 or $200,000. He would get back on his feet pretty damn quick and rebuild most of it back. Why? Because he has the mindset, the belief that he can. Like, he's been there before. He's experienced that level. Most humans, me included, can't fathom that because we haven't been there. There's certain things we just don't understand. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Here's what I've learned. The only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, it's not talent, it's not luck, it's not connections, it's all here. It's the stories you tell yourself about what's possible. We buy into our own stories so much, so much, and we make excuses and we always justify our positions, and you can get better at this as you start to actually become self-aware, but most people have no clue in the world that they're doing it, and you tell them something and they make an excuse and you just look at them and you think, wow, that was a fast excuse. Like, there's no way you had to process that. You've already had that planted in the back of your head for ages. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming your circumstances or your background or where you grew up or your education or your parents or the economy. The moment you take 100% responsibility for your life is the moment your life will completely start to change. The other day, I barged into my business partner's office out of sheer shock that Tim Gurner, the Australian developer, I think he's the biggest developer in Australia, is only 9 years older than me. 9! And he's worth over $500 million. You trying to tell me if that guy loses it all tomorrow, he's going to come back and do what I'm doing? No. Maybe for a moment or a season, but I don't even know the bloke. And I can almost guarantee he'd make some big moves because he understands the game at a different level. So you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do to understand the game at a different level? There's this whole saying around your mindset is like a thermostat. And the way a thermostat works is it holds it to a certain level. If it gets too cold, it will bring the heat up, right? And it'll bring it back to that same level. And if it gets too hot, it will turn the AC on to bring it down to that level. That's how our mindset works, right? Our mindset tries to keep us at the same level, which is why most people live the exact same 6 months over and over again. Comfort's the biggest killer, right? Which brings me to truth number 2. Most people die at 25, but don't get buried till 75. I think this was coined by someone famous. I'm going to say Abraham Lincoln. I got no idea if that's true or not. Fact check me. Let me know in the comments. But the second truth is that most people stop living way before they actually die. You're going to die one day. And that might sound morbid, but it's reality. Think about this right now, okay? We live in this world where we can do whatever we want, and most people sleepwalk their way through their entire lives. They go to school, get a job, live the same 6 months for 40 years, and then retire and then die. They never actually live. They never actually take things in. They never take any risks. They never pursue their dreams. They never push themselves outside of their comfort zone. Go live. Take action. Make the most of everything you're doing. You're never going to sit there saying, I wish I did less. Like, no one says that shit. Time's the only thing you can't get back. And you're burning through it every single day, whether you're doing something meaningful or not. Don't be the person who lives the same 6 months over and over and over. Wake up. The third truth is your comfort zone is slowly killing your potential. We've all heard that story about the frog in boiling water. If you throw a frog into boiling water, it'll jump straight out. If you throw a frog into cold water and slowly turn the heat up, it won't even notice that the heat's gone up slowly, and then it dies. This is how most people are living their lives. Everything you want is on the other side of fear, but we are so addicted to comfort. Most people would rather stay comfortable and miserable than take a risk and potentially fail. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. The moment you get comfortable is the moment you stop growing. And we've all heard the saying, the moment you stop growing, you're dying. I see people in their 20s all the time who are settling, taking a safe job, staying in the safe relationship, living in the same town they grew up in, hanging out with the same people, doing the same shit, and then they wonder why nothing changes. If you want different results, you need to do different things. If you want to grow, get uncomfortable. You want to build something meaningful? Go take risks. Stop playing it safe. You've got time up your sleeve when you're in your 20s. Everyone thinks playing it safe is the safe thing. Safe is risky. Safe means you're not growing. Safe means you're not learning. You're not becoming the person you're capable of becoming. Truth number 4, your first business or career is probably going to fail. And that's actually a good thing. I failed heaps. So much. I used to work as a builder's laborer. Then I went and worked as a mechanic for years on end. And I wanted to have my own mechanic shop. Never did it. Wanted to become a builder after that. I left and pursued my certificate for. Never completed it. I went and became a real estate agent. Never reached the heights I wanted to reach. I was completely invested in all of those things, every single thing. When I was a mechanic, I used to do backyarders. I was doing night school for building, reading the NCC. I was so committed to I committed everything I had to real estate. Not one bit of me that thinks I should have tried harder. I was trying so hard. I started reading books. I pursued education. I was paying for my own courses. I went and did Tony Robbins. I went and hired a coach. I was throwing money at everything, trying to learn, how can I crack this? I have to crack this, right? And I never did. I never got to the level I wanted to get to in real estate. But I'll tell you what, it was phenomenal because I became such a better human for it. I learned things about myself that I'd never known, and I put myself in areas and situations that I never otherwise would have. And you're like, okay, cool. You start to learn how to handle yourself in those sorts of situations, right? You become a better person for it. Well, at least I did, or I think I did. So it's not the end of the world if you fail at the first thing or the second thing or the third thing. It's only the end of the world if you stop. Truth number 5, your beliefs are creating your reality right now. Here's a perfect example that I see all the time. There's this thing called confirmation bias. And as a human, you're going to perceive things based on what you're looking for. Okay, so you will see what you want to see. If you believe someone is a good human, you will see that everything they say is you'll see the good side to it. Your beliefs are the lens through which you see the world, and they determine what actions you take. If you change your beliefs, you will change your whole life. Your whole life will change forever. But we have such a bias towards what we think and what we believe that everything we see will be in favor of that. Humans are so biased. They did a study in America. We have a huge self-bias. We believe that everything we do is for the good. We judge ourselves by our intentions, but judge everyone else by their actions. Humans are so biased to themselves that they did this study in America, and 90% of people believe they are in the top 50% of drivers. Think about that. 90% of people think they are in the top 50% of drivers, meaning that there are very few people who think they're in the bottom 50%. Everyone thinks they're in the better half of drivers. And it's mathematically impossible. There is no way that can be true. Your belief are the lenses through which you see the world. And if you can control your beliefs and change your beliefs, I promise you, it'll change the way you see everything. Everything. Truth number 6. No one in life owes you anything. Not your parents, not your boss, not the government, not society. No one. No one owes you a job. No one owes you success. No one owes your happiness. No one owes you anything. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's also incredibly liberating, okay? Because if it's all on you, that means you have all the power to change it. Your success is 100% your responsibility. Your happiness is 100% your responsibility. Your life, no matter which way it goes, good or bad, is 100% your responsibility. So stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. Stop waiting for someone to give you a handout. If you want a better job, go get the skills and apply for it. You want to make more money, go create more value in the marketplace. You want a better life, go fucking build it. You want to be a better person, go learn some shit, right? No one's going to come and save you. I promise you, you might not understand that now, but one day you'll look back and it'll be the best fucking news you'll ever hear because it means you're in control. Truth number 7, you're most likely procrastinating not because you're busy, but because you're scared. I remember when I first hired a coach in real estate and his name was Darren. And I went and sat down with him and he asked me a question and like kind of asked me an opening question, and I was rambling, and then he asked me if I knew what grounding was. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he said, when was the last time you purposefully made yourself uncomfortable? And I remember looking at him like, what? And he was like, when was the last time you purposefully made yourself uncomfortable? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, when was the last time you put yourself in a position where you weren't happy with? And I remember looking at him thinking, why would I do that? That makes no sense. And then he sat there telling me about how he has a cold shower every morning. And I remember thinking, man, that is weird. Like, that's a weird thing to do, right? Cold shower every morning. Anyway, he was a very influential person and he convinced me to try it. And I've been having cold showers every single day since. I would have missed very few days between when he taught me and today. You need to move toward the obstacle. You need to do the harder things in life, right? If there's something in your life that you're afraid of or that you're not achieving, it's avoiding you. You need to tackle it head on. I used to be scared of dogs. You know what I did? I got a dog. I used to be scared of water, like I couldn't swim. I'd go to the beach and I was that guy who would only go up to his neck because I couldn't go where all my friends would go. It was a fear. I didn't know how to float. I didn't know how to swim. And I was scared that if I got to the point where I couldn't touch the ground, I was going to drown. But one time I threw myself in the deep end, forced myself to float. As long as you don't put yourself in any real harm or danger, there's only good that can come from putting yourself in places of discomfort. Growth does not happen in your comfort zone. Not even a little bit. Nothing. It happens when you're least comfortable. The 8th truth is that you need to focus on the right things. Get clear on what you actually want. Identify the specific things that will get you there. Then start working on those things. You can work on the wrong thing as much as you want. It's not going to get you the result you want. I'm going to eat as many burgers as I can. That sounds stupid, right? But people are actually doing that in different avenues of their life. They're like, I'm going to become a billionaire. And then they're going to work and doing 9 to 5. And then you're like you can work as many hours as you want. If you're trading time for money, like in that aspect, not from a value aspect, you're never going to get to that point. That's just the reality. You need to get clear on what you actually want in life and start working on those things. I started off doing just Facebook ads, right? And I was so focused on making sure I knew everything, all the latest things about Facebook ads because I needed to be on top of this. I needed to be the guy. But I didn't understand that I was playing the wrong game, right? I was playing the game on the ground level when I needed to play on the 10th level. Instead of focusing on being on the floor and doing the work, I needed to learn how to lead and run a business. And I was working like crazy, but I'd be up at 3 a.m. trying to get these ads out. And I don't regret it, but it didn't allow me to get to the level of growth I've had today. It didn't allow me to build the business out the way I have. I was solving the wrong problems, right? You can solve the wrong problem in the right way and it's not going to get you what you want. You need to control your focus and understand what you want and work on the right things that are going to get you there. Truth number 9, your 20s are either for building or partying, right? Most people in their 20s are focused on the wrong things. They're focused on going out every weekend, buying clothes, getting the latest phone, traveling for Instagram. They're consumers, not builders. Your 20s are your building decade. You can set up the rest of your life if you play out your 20s well. This is when you should be building skills, building relationships, building assets, learning like fucking crazy, right? Shadowing the people that you want to become like, building your reputation, building you yourself, building your character. The habits you build in your 20s are going to determine the rest of your life. The skills you develop are going to determine your earning potential for the rest of your career or your business career. Stop trying to live like you're already successful. Stop trying to impress people with things you can't afford. Stop prioritizing short-term pleasure over long-term progress. You know, live below your means, invest in yourself. I wish someone fucking told me to invest in myself. You know, I grew up thinking that if I bought a course, I was going to get ripped. And it's like, why would I spend $1,000 on that? That's a rip. And it's like, what else are you going to spend $1,000? You're going to spend it anyway. Do you understand that you can spend that $1,000 and learn a skill that could make you $1 million over the rest of your life? Like, that's a pretty fucking good return. Build something that creates value for other people. The sacrifice you make in your 20s will become the lifestyle you get to live in your 30s, 40s, and beyond. Truth number 10, you can't escape what you don't process. Okay, you need to deal with things that are bothering you. You tend to think that if you ignore something for long enough, it kind of goes away. And it does. but it comes back. And once you've kind of lived long enough, you realize that it comes back. And then you're like, holy shit, I didn't realize that I was holding that there. And we all know someone who can randomly cry for no reason. And you're like, and it's like they haven't processed something that they need to process. You know, you need to deal with the things that are bothering you. Your body keeps score. And if you don't, I swear to you, it'll come back around and remind you. And it might be a year later or 10 years later, but it will come back around. You'll think you're over something. You'll think it's all done and dusted, or I've forgotten about that. And then all of a sudden it's like, bang. And then you're like, I thought I was over that. You know why they say meditation is so powerful? This is coming from a person who does not meditate, by the way. But they say meditation is powerful because you make your world go quiet. All right? And they say life will speak to you, but when it speaks to you, it'll whisper. Well, the whole reason why meditation is supposedly so powerful is because, and I believe it is, there's so much science behind it, is because you stop for a moment and you kind of just listen. Life will whisper to you, and then it will talk, and then it will shout, and then eventually a bus will fucking hear you. You need to deal with your stuff before it becomes a scream, before it becomes a bus coming down the street. Process your emotions, work through your traumas, face the things that you're avoiding. What you resist persists, and what you don't deal with will deal with you. Truth number 11 is time flies. Time flies so damn fast, and you don't feel different in your 30s than you do in your 20s. Things feel a little bit different, but you don't feel different. It's not like you're like, now I'm 30, look at me. It's like you feel like you're the exact same person, right? And I still feel like how I felt when I was 22. Just smarter, wiser, but I'm still the same fucking person, you know? And I'm 34 years old now, and I remember looking at a 34-year-old and thinking, that person's so like 34, old as, like, you know, and it's like, I don't feel that way. Time waits for no one. One day, all of this is going to be completely done and dusted. Whether you do the stuff you want to do or not, whether you live the life you want or not, whether you kick the goals you want or not. You know what I mean? One day, everything you're doing right now is going to be done and dusted, and the world's going to move on. That's how the world works. There's people who have walked this earth hundreds of years before us, and most of their names are forgotten. Do what you want. Like, live your life. You know what I mean? Go and take advantage of this world we live in. Stay away from the pessimists. Go hang around some people who make you feel energetic and make you want to live life a little bit more. You know what I mean? I said it before, but don't live the same 6 months over and over again. And if you find yourself doing that, change something. Right? The only person that can save you is you. And the only person that can ruin you is you. The life you want is available to you right now. But you have to go and get it. You have to be willing to build it. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to go and create it. I'm trying to show you what's possible if you're willing to face reality and take some form of action, right? Your 20s are going to pass by whether you do something meaningful with them or not. My question to you is, what are you going to do with that time you've got left? If this video resonated with you, smash that subscribe button. I share strategies and insights every single week that can help you build the life and business you actually want. I also share all my knowledge for business owners inside our online community. It's called the CMO Playbook. It'll be a link in the description. We show you how to get results in your business, and it's 100% free, so you can sign up there. Remember, you're the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be. So what are you waiting for?